1 year after a local company's first of its kind submersible imploded, killing 5 people on their journey to the Titanic, the deep sea exploration industry is still trying to recover from that tragedy.
King 5's Taylor Mirfandareski found submersible professionals are now joining together to advocate for better oversight of safety rules all across the globe.
There's more world under the water than there is above it.
Patrick Loughy has dedicated his life to the deep ocean.
In my life, I've worked with more than 60 subs.
As the founder and CEO of Florida-based Triton Submarines, he's delivered over 24 submersibles to private yacht owners, researchers, and high-profile filmmakers.
Join me, David Attenborough.
Loughy himself has been on thousands of dives, including to the deepest part of the ocean in a Triton submersible that made history.
You can't replace a human being's presence in the deep sea.
I see the bottom.
It's been a year
Titanic
since OceanGate's submersible called the Titan imploded and killed 5 people who were hoping to catch a glimpse of the Titanic. Loughy says the Everett company's fatal dive impacted his business and killed the dreams of many hoping to someday explore the deep sea.
It frightened people about these brilliant machines, made people scared of them. But by the way, there's a stark difference between that experimental machine that should have never carried human beings and didn't meet any kind of recognized standards, and the beautifully designed and thoughtfully engineered machines that we create.
It's a message shared by others in his field who are now calling for better oversight, saying OceanGate was an outlier that disregarded safety in an industry that had been largely responsible.
Human-occupied vehicles that are certified and accredited have a 50-year track record of perfect safety. 50 years. We need to do a better job of ensuring experimental craft have no place in human-occupied exploration of the deep sea.
The Titan was made with experimental materials, including carbon fiber, that experts say hadn't been pressure tested over time in such extreme depths.
12,500-foot
OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, who died on the sub, had openly refused to put the Titan through an independent certification process designed for safety.
These programs are over the top in their rules and regulations, but
he claimed the rules stifled innovation.
Turn left, turn right.
In the U.S., it's a Coast Guard requirement that submersibles are certified if they carry passengers. But in the case of OceanGate, industry professionals say Rush found a clever way to skirt the rules.
You can see the mission specialists have their iPhones.
Naming his paying customers mission specialists.
They were mission specialists, they're part of the crew, and they were not considered a passenger, therefore they were not subject to the Coast Guard regulations. It was one of the weasel ways to get around that.
Will Kohnen is the chair of the industry group for manned underwater vehicles that warned Rush before the tragedy. He was on a very risky path. Last fall at a conference, the group reconvened for the first time since the Titan implosion. Kohnen says representatives from 16 countries were at the table for talks of where the industry should go from here.
We have a lot of rules for submersibles, but there's ambiguity on how these rules are being applied. And it just needs to be more clear, and more importantly, that countries around the world apply them equally.
The Coast Guard announced last week that it's still investigating the Titan implosion. As the industry waits for the findings, Cohen and co-chair Gard Clark, a retired Navy submarine captain, are taking action now.
By going from one country to another, you can kind of weave your way through the rules.
They recently created a new group called the World Submarine Organization to advocate for international changes in policy.
Right now, the focus is looking at what everybody's rules are internationally to unify those rules.
I think that's a very good idea.
For Leahy, the answer isn't more regulations. It's enforcement.
Check, is this a certified vehicle? Is the certification current? You can use experimental robots, experimental autonomous vehicles, because nobody cares about what happens to a robot. But if you put human beings in it, you got to be held to a higher standard.
In Seattle, Taylor Mirfandareski, King 5 News.
And as you heard Taylor report, the Coast Guard is still investigating the events of last year. A spokesperson told us they are still in the fact-finding stage and there is no timeline for its completion.